watching Rogers TV.
Welcome to Daytime Ottawa. Great show ahead for you. We're talking some great local theater on the show. David Kern is back with his wife, France. We're going to talk about their brand new book that's all around Tom Thompson, of course, one of the greatest Canadian artists. Also talking a little woodworking. We're talking flowers, how you can help a senior that perhaps is a little bit lonely over the holiday season and how to put a smile on their face. Speaking of smiles, Julie Finley, Mom in the Know. We kick off the show with her on today's show. My goodness, how are you, my friend?
I'm very good.
It smells so good in here already.
You know what? Just what you were saying about that idea with flowers and the holidays coming in. We maybe had one cold day so far.
I know,
but they're coming. They're coming.
I know. Thanks for the reminder,
no,
Julie.
It's good. It's just we're going to bundle up. We're going to have some things, and then you know what? Everybody loves soup.
Yes.
I find, and there's so many different kinds of soup that I feel like this weekend I thought, you know what? I'm going to bring on a couple of my favorite soups.
Okay.
It's always when there's cheese involved. I love a soup with cheese involved.
Absolutely.
So we're going to do a parsnip and apple with brie cheese.
Nice.
Yeah. And then I do love the curries, because that's the other thing you want to start bringing into your foods is all the different spices. Those comfort food spices. When you're out there, I mean, I think you actually have someone coming on talking about spices, so they'll give you some tips. But it's that idea of like adding flavor to your food. It doesn't take much to make a food that you think's bland not. So we are going to do a curried apple and onion soup.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
But before we do that, we're actually going to make scones.
Oh my!
I know. So you think this is hard, but like I always never do.
You know why? Because I've never made scones
Okay, well, we're going to make them today.
Okay.
So really what you need is 2 cups of, this is Bisquick's or any type of pancake mix.
Okay.
That is what you're doing.
Really? Pancake mix, okay.
What I've already done ahead of time, I was taking 1 tablespoon of butter and 1 onion, and I literally put it in the microwave for 60 seconds until it's softened.
Okay.
I'm going to put those in there.
Look at that. You don't even have to take out a pan for this one.
I know.
Yeah. Nice.
So you've got that, and then I'm going to add in a 1/2 cup of, actually no, I'm going to do that first. I'm going to take old cheddar cheese, a 1/2 cup.
Nice.
Of course, any cheese you prefer, but I do like the idea of the old with the onion.
I forgot to put on my apron. I'm cooking here.
Oh, I know. Yeah, you should, because there's going to be flour going everywhere.
Flour going.
And so really, this is it. All you're going to do is add some milk so it moistens.
Yeah.
And then you're going to roll it into a ball. You're going to have your oven on at 350, and you're going to cook this 8 to 10 minutes.
That's it?
And you have scones. Yes.
This is fantastic.
So this is great.
So for all of us that complain, I don't have any time to do something.
You know what? Get out the...
I don't know what this is doing here. I left my... It's my selfie stick. We should take a selfie during the show at some point.
Here.
Okay.
So really easy. You get it into a dough like this. You're going to roll it. I mean, we could take time, but the whole idea is you're going to roll it and you're going to cut it into things. Okay.
And then this is the finished product right here. These beautiful little square triangles, I should say.
And I did have a cloth, so I'm just going to grab that here.
There you go.
Sorry, everybody at home. But you're going to mold that together.
Everybody is used to you in the kitchen, and it will get chaotic at some point.
Yes,
Julie.
it is.
Don't worry.
This could be, actually, as I was doing this, I was trying to get to Yangtze had their last dinner.
What an institution that place.
Gosh. And you know what? The food that comes out of there just inspires you to come. And I was like, they should auction off their recipes. I think that would be fun.
They should.
But I divert. Because I was also, while I was getting ready for the Grey Cup, there's so much going on this weekend. I was having some fun in the kitchen. That brings us to our first soup. Which is the onion, it's a parsnip, apple, and brie soup. So I've taken an onion and I've melted it with 3 tablespoons of butter. Okay. Which is lovely.
And you're just what, softening it again?
Just softening it again on medium-high heat. And I've taken, these are our parsnips.
I love parsnips.
Okay, grab one. You have to tell people, like, parsnips
you can eat them raw.
Exactly, all year round. They look like a carrot. They've got a nuttier taste. They're very, you can...
A little sweeter, too?
Yes, I find that, too. Right? You can just shave them into your salads. They're great for soups. You can cook them with some maple syrup and some butter.
So good,
There's so many things. So Foodland Ontario, literally look under parsnips and I'll give you 100 recipes.
Nice.
So really what I've done is I peeled and chopped up very loosely 4 cups because it will be blended later. Okay. And then I'm just taking 2 peeled apples. All right. And of course our variety of apples are vast. We've got so many. We've got Spartan Empire. I mean, we should have a trivia one time in here. Cortland, Honeycrisp,
Macintosh, Honeycrisp.
Gala.
There's like a dozen.
There
right?
are
At any given
so
time
many
in
varieties.
our local grocery stores.
Absolutely. So my tip when you are getting apples, try and get them, I find, loose. Like go to the markets, get their apples. When you get them in the bag, just kind of have a little feel around the bag, because sometimes you get the bruised ones, and that's okay too, because if they're on sale, that becomes applesauce, that becomes any type of thing you could use apples for. And you're just going to take 8 cups of stock. You could do chicken, veggie, whichever one you would like. I went veggie because we kept the veggie soup. So really all this happening here is you're going to bring it to a boil. You're going to blend it. Here is your soup.
Oh, and this is my taste tester.
This is your taste tester here. Once you do blend it, you're going to take 4 ounces, which is about a half cup of brie cheese. Take off the rind, and you're literally putting it in, and you're blending it until it's melted.
Some creaminess,
I love it. Yes. So you've got. Isn't that lovely?
That is delicious, Julie.
It's so nice and warm, and you've got your onion scones that you can have with them.
Fabulous.
So my last one, I love curries, and I love finding a curry soup. I love finding curry vegetables. Again, anything local vegetables, add some curry to them, a great taste.
Yeah.
So I've taken 3 tablespoons of curries with 2 onions and a little bit of butter, and I've sauteed it again till it's soft, about medium heat. And then I'm adding a little bit of sweetness to it. I'm taking 2 tablespoons of apricot jam.
Really?
And I'm going to put that in. Yeah,
okay,
absolutely.
so that's kind of a bit of your sweetener that you're adding there?
Exactly. And then I've got 2 cups of apples. Just peeled and chopped up.
Any particular? Again, it just depends on what you like.
Any particular what you like. I actually like the Spartan in this. I kind of like the heartier apple that keeps it, but Macintosh, anything you'd like, whatever you have in the fridge, or not even in the fridge because it doesn't need to be there. 4 cups of stock. You're going to bring it to a boil, simmer for about 10-15 minutes. Bring it to the blender, blend it, and then you're going to serve it up. I'll let you try this one.
Oh no!
This is your curried onion and apple soup.
Okay.
But what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a couple of. Nope, I'm not going to because I thought I had my scissors. But just get a little bit of chives because that's the other thing that we still have.
Julie was rushed today. Okay,
I was.
You were busy early this morning.
I was,
right?
but
you were called upon last minute.
I know,
so we
but
understand.
The one other fun thing about this soup, there's one last stage with it. You're going to take some creams. You're going to take a cup of milk and a cup of cream after you've blended everything. You're going to put it in there with 2 tablespoons of local honey.
Nice.
That is the touch to that one. There wasn't enough time to do all the steps, but Foodland Ontario makes it so easy. So it's probably about a soup that takes 10 to 15 minutes to prepare.
That's it?
But yes. And then you've got tons of soup.
So how long would you leave it before you start the blending process?
Not long because you're just softening the apples. So about 5 to 10 minutes. But the thing about these types of soups is it's easy to double. It's easy to freeze, or it's easy to share. So I feel like it's one of those things as the holidays are starting to come, or if you're going to someone's house for anything, you can give them even a soup to throw in the freezer.
I think that's a great idea, right? Because honestly, this time of year, we're going to actually talk about it on tomorrow's show. We've got a financial planner coming on because people just go crazy, right? And then the credit card bills roll in, right, in the new year, and you go, oh my goodness, what have I done? Make homemade stuff.
Make homemade stuff, and also get your friends in on it. In fact, tonight, Corey Keeley and I and 5 of our friends, we're doing a whole assembly line of pork dumplings.
Nice.
So we're going to have those in the freezer.
I didn't get an invitation. That's okay.
We're bringing them to you. Oh. Remember, you're making, sharing, or caring.
Julie will be back just after the break with some sweets for you. Don't go anywhere.
You're watching an interesting local show on Rogers TV and you want to know more. That's when you head to rogerstv.com. Our website provides more information about our programs, our hosts, our schedule, and about how you too can get involved with Rogers TV. Visit us online at rogerstv.com.
This episode of Daytime Ottawa is brought to you in part by Trio Financial Planning, helping individuals and families live today and build for tomorrow. Branton Renovation is pleased to support this episode of Daytime Ottawa. Branton Renovations, Ottawa's award-winning renovations team.
Kids these days, people say we lack initiative.
And technology, that we're all addicted.
Kids these days, we hear that we only care about ourselves. Apparently, we're lazy.
And don't seem to have any sense of independence.
Actually, kids these days are facing a lot.
Because the world has changed, and so have our health issues. Kids these days, we could really use your help. Join CHIO in our biggest fundraising campaign ever to transform pediatric care.
This episode of Daytime Ottawa is brought to you in part by Dustin Design and Drafting, your first step toward building your dream project with a team approach. Daytime Ottawa is proudly supported by Mary's Must Read Book Club. Follow Mary on social media at Mary K. Taggart for her latest book club picks.
This episode of Daytime Ottawa is brought to you in part by Eastboro Designs. Eastboro Designs, designing a bold lifestyle through functionality and beauty. Welcome back to the show. We are back with Julie Finley, Mom in the Know, and of course, Ambassador for Foodland Ontario. A reminder, all of these recipes and more available at foodlandontario.ca, and just look under TV recipes. Now we get to turn to the sweets, the dessert.
So good.
Right? This is where we indulge. It's the holidays around the corner. This is what we do, Julie.
It is
right?
what we do. And remember, I did talk to you about the sweet potato.
Yes. You promised you were coming back.
I am delivering on my promise.
Okay.
This sweet potato is a powerhouse vegetable. It's got everything you need into it. It's got tons of beta. It's got tons of vitamin C. It's brilliant. It's great. It's fleshy yellow. This is what it looks like. What I did ahead of time for my 2 recipes is I actually mashed it together. So I just peeled. You can roast it, or you could just put a little bit of water, boil it, and then mash it with a masher. But easy to do. So I needed that to make my caramel squash flan.
You made a flan.
First time ever.
Julie Finley, everybody. Hey? Her first time flanner.
I'm a first time flanner, and I'm bought in. It is so delicious. I want everyone, if you like it, just throw it on Instagram how much you like it. The numbers are going to go high. Everybody's going to be doing it. And the other thing I'm doing is a squash brownie with a chocolate swirl. So right away, I'm going to get you, I'm going to pour in. So this, I've already blended it together. It's 1 egg, cream cheese, and a little bit of milk. And cocoa. And you're just going to blend in these a little bit on the side, because that's going to be the swirl. So like everything, we're going to take the flour out of the bag, but there's always dry and wet when you're making your baking.
Remember, baking's a science.
Yes, it is.
Right? Cooking, you can be creative. Baking, you don't. I'm talking to you, Monica.
Okay.
Right?
This is a PSA for your wife. I love it.
Oh, no, but she does the thing like, I found an alternative to flour. I'm going to use this, or an alternative to sugar. And then we all look on in horror. Right? The whole thing, like, don't, you can't do it.
You can't do it.
No, there are some things you can do now, I should say.
John has those comments, too. So I've got 1 teaspoon of cinnamon. I've got 1 teaspoon of baking powder. You've got baking soda. You've got ginger. Again, those lovely flavors that are about the holidays. Nutmeg and a little bit of salt. So we're just going to mix that together. Thank you very much. You're going to crack those 2 eggs. Okay.
Yeah.
And you're going to whisk that right here.
You thought you forgot the whisk for a second there, didn't you?
I did not think I know it's here.
All right.
Okay, you start whisking while I turn in a 1/4 cup of vegetable oil.
All right.
1 cup of buttermilk.
Oh, nice.
It's lovely. And I'm just going to poke this out here. Some brown sugar, 3/4 cup.
Okay.
And then we're going to put in the best part, which is the squash. So this is a cup of squash here.
Okay.
Okay, and you're just going to blend that together.
You got it.
You got that. And while you're blending that, you got your, look at that. You're working out, aren't you?
Listen, I've been pebbling at the RCMP curling club, so this arm is much stronger than this weak one now.
Okay.
You know?
Well, you know you can play ultimate frisbee with the other arm. And so now you're just going to add the
Are you recruiting me for your team?
Oh, it'd be great if you played. Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm going to get you to whisk that together.
Okay.
And then literally you're going to pour it in here.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I'm going to take the sides down for you. You always need a little helper.
Of course.
Okay. You want to take this one instead? That might be easier.
Yeah.
Okay. And then while you're doing that, before you put it in, I'm going to start the flan.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. And
Yeah,
then,
you do the flan, and then I'll come and meet you over there.
Okay,
How's that
perfect.
sound?
Okay.
Are these nuts going in after
yes,
this is
they
blended?
are.
Okay,
Yeah,
so we're
absolutely.
putting
What
in
you
some
could do
walnuts.
is just put it on top of the already prepared pan.
Okay.
And, or you know what, everyone knows. You're going to put it in the pan. It's already set up 350 for 45 to 50 minutes until
Okay.
it's set. You've got this lovely part here. But when you do put your batter in here, you're just going to plop these chocolate swirls and then swirl
Okay.
it on top.
All right.
So we don't get back to that because you're. Oh, you got it. You're good at that.
I'm on.
Okay.
I'm on. Apologies to my camera person who I just took it right out of their view.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is the flan. Everyone at home, what you have to do is you have to cook sugar and water on a saucepan on a boil. So
Okay.
when you have sugar, white sugar and water, it's going to be light. In about 5 minutes, it's going to turn an amber brown. As soon
Okay.
as it does that, you're going to take your pie dish, you're going to pour it in, and see that nice
That is
amber?
so cool.
That is the top. No, I'm telling. This is so fun.
Okay. I'm
So you got
excited.
that.
Okay.
So right away, I've got 2.5 cups of squash.
Yeah.
I'm going to add in the rest of the sugar because I used the sugar there. I've got
Okay.
a 3/4 cup of sugar. I'm going to do 1 egg white and 3 eggs. And that is going to, no, I'm going to do 1 egg. I'm going to get 1 egg white out of here.
Okay.
Oh, good job. That's exactly
I'm
what
just
you're doing.
plopping, right?
You're just
Okay.
plopping because then you're going to take the knife or the edge of that and we'll swirl it
Okay.
together. Swirl it around, and then it comes out with that. I actually threw
Oh,
extra
dear.
chocolate. That's okay. You're gonna
That's
swirl
okay.
it.
Camera didn't catch it. I shouldn't have said a word.
So this is, we're putting all the eggs in. That's a big part of the flan. So we've
Okay.
got 4 eggs in total. We're going to add a little bit of 1 teaspoon of vanilla.
Okay.
And then we're going to add our spices that we're using for the season. Again, we've got cinnamon, ginger, nutmeg, and a little bit of salt.
Nice.
And you're just going to blend that together with your cup of whipping cream.
Okay, we're using the full whipping
That is
cream
a
on this
full
puppy.
whipping
Okay.
cream. I'm going to get you to mix that.
You got it.
Okay, you're
Yeah.
just in my mixer. Thank you
know.
for getting all your muscles ready.
My
Okay,
pleasure.
thank you. Oh, you know what? I'm going to give you the whisk for that. I
Okay.
think that's going to be easier. And I probably should have given you, so just a little
It's
bit
all
like
right.
that.
It's
There
okay.
you go.
You got it.
And then
1 minute, Ben says.
that's okay. You know what? You're going to pour that on top. Later, you're going to bake it. So the thing about this is you're going to actually put it in a roasting pan and fill it with water. So the water goes up to about halfway.
Okay.
It's at 325 for about an hour. So set
All
aside
right.
some time. But
Okay.
foodlandontario.ca, you're set. This is going to take me about 10 seconds because this is everyone's favorite,
Okay.
which is an apple cranberry crisps. So I've already cut up 8 apples.
Okay.
And I peeled them, and I've got 1 cup of cranberries.
Yeah.
And then really what you're going to do for the topping is you're going to add all those things. You got flour.
Yeah.
You've got some brown sugar, some oats,
Nice.
your spices, which are cardamom.
I love the crumble.
I
My
know.
goodness.
It is so easy, and
yeah.
it's 350 for about 25 minutes. You've got cinnamon, and you've got nothing in there, so we're good. And you're going to take this butter, you're going to cut it up, and you're just going to
Look
put the
at-
topping.
She wasn't kidding. 10
30 seconds.
That's all it's going to
Yeah.
take you at home. Maybe a little bit more time than that.
Yes.
Foodlandontario.ca, everybody. For all of these recipes and more, look under TV recipes. We'll be back with more right after this.
This episode of Daytime Ottawa is brought to you in part by Trio Financial Planning, helping individuals and families live today and build for tomorrow. Branton Renovation is pleased to support this episode of Daytime Ottawa. Branton Renovations, Ottawa's award-winning renovations team.
Unbelievable. You just never see that. What a shot. Scores!
The OHL on Rogers TV.
This episode of Daytime Ottawa is brought to you in part by Dustin Design and Drafting, your first step toward building your dream project with a team approach. Daytime Ottawa is proudly supported by Mary's Must Read Book Club. Follow Mary on social media at Mary K. Taggart for her latest book club picks.
This episode of Daytime Ottawa is brought to you in part by Eastboro Designs. Eastboro Designs, designing a bold lifestyle through functionality and beauty. Hey, welcome back. And the holiday's just around the corner. If no matter what you're celebrating, you can put a smile on the face of a senior here in our community. It is the Christmas Smiles campaign. And the gentleman behind all of that joins me, Michael, the designer from W Flowers, Ottawa. Michael, welcome back to the show. Great to have you here.
Thank you so much for having me.
Before we get into this wonderful campaign, and congratulations again, this is year number 5, but let's talk a little bit about W Flowers, a little bit about your history.
Yeah, so I have about 34 years of experience. I'm a small town boy from Sudbury, Ontario.
Nice.
We came to Ottawa to become a florist, and I was blessed, to do flowers around the city for a lot of dignitary and a lot of people.
Nice.
I retired, and then I came back and I bought a store called W Flowers, and it's been bliss ever since.
Good for you. So why flowers? What attracted you to this particular?
My grandmother.
Oh,
yeah,
really?
My grandmother. Yeah. She had flowers, and she loved her flowers. And throughout my upbringing, it was flowers and plants. I did become a social worker, but I had a little burnout, so I had to switch careers. In doing so, because of my love, of course, of flowers and plants like she did, I was the next generation to take it on.
And then you retired, and then you decided to come back. I guess you missed it.
I did.
That was the
missed
reason?
it, and all of my clientele were seeing me. They were like, "Oh my God, I need you to do my wedding flowers. My daughter's getting married." I'm like, "I'm so sorry, I'm not in anymore." And then that was the deciding factor.
Every time I try to get out, they pull me back in. Right?
Yeah,
the
and that's
famous
what
line.
And I do love it. I don't feel like
do.
I've ever worked. So.
Nice. I know the feeling.
Yeah,
I do. There is work that goes into this. Don't get me wrong.
There is.
But we both love our jobs that much, right?
Behind the scenes, yeah.
Let's go back 5 years ago. What was the inspiration behind this campaign, Michael?
Well, as we all went through COVID, it was a difficult time for all of us. And in December, I didn't know how to pay the rent.
Okay.
So I was like, I need something. And I remember my mother, she always said, when you have your own troubles, turn around, help somebody else. Your troubles will be taken care of.
Nice.
And that came back to me. And that's exactly what I did. So when I saw that little lady in the retirement home looking out the glass, not knowing what was going on, if it was the end of the world, I said, that's who I want to help out.
Nice.
That's what I want to do. And that's how this was all created, because these people used to buy my centerpieces.
Right.
Now they're in retirement homes. Today, it would probably be a laptop in the middle of the dining room table for Christmas.
Right.
So unfortunately, the centerpiece has kind of went out the window, but some still do, but these are the people that still. So giving them back to them after all those years.
I mean, it's a precious thing. And then you know what? It brings back great memories for them as well, right? Because the centerpiece was always a big part of the dining room table around Christmas,
absolutely.
right?
And some of them have dementia. They have, the Alzheimer's. We all know how afflicted we all are. The smell alone will bring you back.
Absolutely.
The colors will bring you back. So, and when a lot of them that I see, and most of the extended carers, they're alone. There's nobody left.
Yeah.
They're just waiting for their turn.
They're living in isolation. And,
I want to do something once a year, to at least once, so that they can enjoy that little centerpiece.
Well, let's continue the conversation by building one of these together, right? That's what we're going to do here today. So I did bring one. I
did green it for you, because it is quite a lengthy process for somebody.
I appreciate that.
But these are the 3 greeneries that I use. I use pine, I use local or BC cedar, I use fir. I use all these 3, and then we put it all together. Use a little glitz at the top,
of course,
because usually we would have them flat. for their centerpiece, but because they're in homes, we like it one-sided so that they can view them from their bed or in their room.
Yeah,
so anyways, I brought you some flowers.
Okay.
And so we want to start with the largest one.
Okay.
So if you grab that one, and we're going to turn that around for a second, because this is what we're working on.
Okay.
And usually you'd use a knife, but I don't have time to teach you all that. So we're going to use clippers, and you're going to clip it on an angle right at there. Yeah. And then you're going to stick it right here. Okay. See, there's foam, and you want to go sideways.
Oh, there's foam. Okay,
there's a foam. Yeah, there's water in there, right?
Okay.
So then you want to use your height.
Okay, I'm just going to slide this out of the way for a moment.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so same
then,
idea?
So then you're going to clip it here on an angle.
A little higher, a little taller.
And then you're going to slick right there.
Okay.
And then like this, and we're going to open it up.
Nice.
And then the second one, we're doing white one.
Okay.
It's a snowball. So this one, you want to go to the number 2. So you want to clip it right here on an angle.
Okay.
And then you want to insert right here. And always looking forward.
Oh, I see.
Always
a little bit of an angle.
Okay. Just like this, see? And then let's do one more.
Okay.
We're going to put this one right here. So now we're going to number 1. So just above there.
All right.
Clip it there.
Yeah.
And then forward.
Gotcha.
Right?
Nice.
And then we'll do.
Look at me. Hey, you need someone to work part-time?
Yes, of course. Are you kidding? Do you know how hard it is to find florists today?
I can imagine.
And this
Where
one
are we going here?
We're going to clip it right here.
And we're going in here?
Yeah, right in there.
Okay.
Well, that's okay.
Things are off the rails, Derek.
Maybe we're full of stuff. Maybe we're
Okay, while we're doing this, tell everybody at home, by the way, so how does it work? How do they order? When do they order by?
So we have already been taking the orders because I needed to buy the greenery.
Of course, okay.
So we needed to buy the greenery, so now we're all set up with that, and now we're going to, you're going to call. First of all, you're going to call 613-224-0240.
Gotcha.
And then somebody's going to take the phone, they're going to say hi, and they're going to take your order saying, I'd like to order 1 Christmas Smiles campaign, or 5 or 10.
Yeah,
you know, the more the better.
Absolutely.
They're $50 each. Okay. And you get to put your company name, like the companies, they usually buy 10.
That's a great
They're
idea.
able to do it, right? They're able to, they gather out from the people and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so...
Yeah, this would be something great to do with your office, right? You're looking to give back to somebody in the community, right? There's many different ways to do it. This is another great way to do it.
I have a cabling service. I have a lot of people that do it already. Right. And so we put their company name or their family name. If you're buying one on behalf of your little family, then we'll put your family name on it.
And this runs till December 21st, right?
That's correct. So
WFlowersOttawa.com, and they're also located at 1556 Marivelle Road, 224-0240. I'll remind you again at the end of the show. We'll be right back after this.
Kids these days, people say we lack initiative.
And technology, that we're all addicted.
Kids these days, we hear that we only care about ourselves. Apparently, we're lazy.
And don't seem to have any sense of independence.
Actually, kids these days are facing a lot. Because the world has changed, and so have our health issues. Kids these days, we could really use your help. Join CHIO in our biggest fundraising campaign ever to transform pediatric care.
I'm Sam LaPrade, host of Ottawa Business Matters. We're going to gather here every single week and speak about business here in the capital. We're going to inspire, influence, and inform.
Blast you.
I'm Sam LaPrade. I hope you join us for an hour to give. It's a wonderful way to learn all about the charities and nonprofits in this community that are changing and saving lives. Look forward to seeing you then.
Are you a content creator looking to expand your audience and make your voice heard in your community? Rogers TV wants to provide you with a platform to share your hobbies, interests, and stories for free. Visit us to find out more.
Hey, welcome back to the show. This next segment is a great reminder that there are so many incredible artisans here in our community, and we say it all the time on the show, buy local. There are so many great Christmas markets coming up as well. We'll tell you about a couple in just a moment. But let me introduce you to my next guest. Jonathan Crone is a woodworking artisan with distinctive woodworking. Jonathan, welcome. Great to have you here on the show.
Thanks for having me on.
You've got an incredible story to share. Your family has had many challenges. Let's Jonathan, talk a little bit about, the idea of woodworking and how you've brought your son into doing this alongside you.
Indeed. Over the last couple of years, my daughter was diagnosed with stage 4 lymphoma. So that sort of threw the entire household into a little bit of an uproar. Yeah. She's in remission now, but over the last 2 years where I was managing my autistic son solo because my wife was taking care of my daughter, we were really working to figure out ways to help my son get a lot more, activities and engaged in things. So what I did was I taught my son how to do the spice mills that I make, as well as the pens, as well as the bowls. And so we're now at a situation with my son's autism. He's got a lot of really, really great fine motor skills. Not so great on the communication. Okay. But dinner ends and then it's like, let's go make spice mills. And that's great. And that's the volume level. Maybe turned up 2 more notches or so, perhaps. But we do have our fun in the shop. We do make a big mess. So.
Yeah, and I guess part of it, teaching these skills, because this is a skill he can take on for the rest of his life, right?
Absolutely. My hope so is because one of the things I've been working with, of course, is for an autistic kid, sometimes there's concerns about, impulse control. Right. So I'm teaching him to safely handle and manage the tools so that, for example, he could end up working in a woodworking shop as a shop assistant. And if anyone goes to my Instagram feed, you can see videos of him helping me to cut wood, to sand and build furniture. I've built things for all sorts of clients around the city, fitting it around my high-tech day job on top of everything else. Don't tell my boss that I'm here.
You got it. That'll stay between us. Let's go back. So your daughter being diagnosed with lymphoma, I imagine you reached out to Leukemia Lymphoma Canada. Indeed. Right? They're a wonderful resource. And, out of the goodness of your heart, because they helped you, you've decided to help them as well, Jonathan.
Indeed. And I mean, it's been a very, very interesting thing for us because last year, the lovely folks at CTV Ottawa did this very amazing little interview with my daughter, talking about how the lack of medical care for kids resulted in her ending up with a stage 4 lymphoma diagnosis.
Really?
Interview goes Ontario-wide, and some lovely lady from Toronto calls up and says, this is not how I want my Canada to be. She offers my daughter a pair of Taylor Swift tickets.
You're kidding.
Yeah, jaws were dropping all over the place,
no
right?
Kidding,
the reporter from CTV is a Swiftie herself and is losing her mind. So to try and pay it back, what we've been doing is we've been doing fundraising for the Leukemia Lymphoma Society. My daughter's a university student with poor friends. 6 weeks ago, she was at $500. This past weekend, we got her over $12,000.
Amazing.
So what we're doing is I'm making beautiful, beautiful bowls. Yeah. And at the artisan markets that I'm participating in this year, so 613 Flea, the Canadian Museum of History Market, which is 4 days, Thursday through Sunday. If you buy one of the bowls that my son and I create, 100% of the purchase price of the bowl is getting donated to the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. Incredible. So a month ago at the 613 Flea event, we sold about $600 worth of bowls. I'm really hoping to sell more at the Museum of History, and then in 2 weeks' time at 613 Flea Christmas at the Carleton University Fieldhouse, Saturday and Sunday in the Big Bowl. Yeah. I'm hoping to have a whole bunch more bowls that I'll be able to sell. And the fun thing about the way my son and I create the bowls is I'm very, very efficient with the wood, because what I have is what I lovingly describe as the woodworker's ice cream scoop. Okay. And it does look like a bit of a torture device, I know. Yes. But the way it works is what we're going to do is we're going to turn Derek into a power tool for a moment.
Oh, okay.
So this is a special tool that gets used to hold the piece of wood as we're cutting. Okay. So you're going to hold that for a second. It's heavy. Okay. And then what would happen, we put the piece of wood into this tool.
Yeah.
And then Derek is going to start humming like an electric motor. And then this spins at high speed. And then my son and I come along with the ice cream scoop, and we essentially hollow out, and then we cut the piece of wood out. So all of that wood doesn't go to waste. And the really slick thing about it is, by the time we're done, from a large piece of wood, I can quite literally generate 3 bowls.
Wow.
So a small one.
Yeah.
This one that folks can see is still in progress.
Yeah.
You can see all of the rough surface and everything like that. And then the final large bowl. And what's amazing about it is you can see all of the beautiful wood grain and the texture in it. And I wish people could smell the bowl, because if you give it a little whiff, you smell the beeswax.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Remember how Julie was talking about, fresh Ontario things?
Yeah.
This is made from a beeswax finish from a local beekeeper here in the Ottawa area.
Amazing.
Right? And then, I'm talking about the spice mills as well. Julie was talking about using local herbs and spices.
Yeah.
The spice mills that my son and I create, we make them with a special high-quality ceramic grinder core.
Okay.
So it'll grind salt and pepper and herbs and spices. And very, very food safe. You don't have to worry about, scary metals from the other side of the planet.
What a great idea.
And the best part is that it does make life a real grind. I mean, I do try to be...
Well played, Jonathan.
I do try to be spicy sometimes, but...
He'll be at Yuck Yucks next week, ladies and gentlemen. Try the veal.
Exactly.
And you're also working on donating, depending on some larger furniture pieces as well.
Indeed.
Tell me how that works, Jonathan.
If anyone is brave enough to make a very, very large financial donation to Josephine's fundraiser, and the link is on my Instagram feed,
okay,
my son and I will actually build that person a piece of furniture.
We're looking at one right now, by the way. This is the dresser, right?
So when my daughter got her remission diagnosis, that was a solid cherry dresser that I made for her with the help of my son. So that's a 6-drawer cherry dresser. If someone makes a $10,000 donation to Josephine's fundraiser, my son and I will build them one of those dressers. Wow. And we also, in the insane and brave category, we have an even higher dollar amount, but I'm pretty sure that no one in town is going to go that range.
You never know.
Stranger things happen.
We're a great city, right? We support all the time. I want to talk about your pens before we run out of time here, because first of all, these are all made by you and your son, handmade?
Yeah, indeed. So one of the ones I love to make very often gets bought by our friends in the government. This one is made out of a beautiful piece of maple, and then on the very end of it, hopefully your camera operator can get on there, you can see how there's that lovely, lovely maple leaf right on the very end of the pen. So it makes an absolutely beautiful, Ottawa area gift.
I'm just going to see if I can get that one in there. Yeah, look at that. There's the end of it right there.
Yeah, and so the beautiful thing is that I have some that I've made out of pine cones, some out of beautiful pieces of maple, and then you can fit the pen with a gorgeous, gorgeous bottle of ink.
And this one's got a little bit of color to it, right?
Indeed.
The ink.
It has a little bit of a sparkle. So what we did was Derek is doing his own Christmas card for us right now.
There we go. Thank you so much. I'm going to remind everybody at home how you can get in touch with Jonathan. We'll be back with more right after this.
This episode of Daytime Ottawa is brought to you in part by Trio Financial Planning, helping individuals and families live today and build for tomorrow. Branton Renovation is pleased to support this episode of Daytime Ottawa. Branton Renovations, Ottawa's award-winning renovations team.
For me, the end was just the beginning. I felt I must come. If I did not come at once, it would be too late. And these places that are watered with the best blood of Canada might only be names and memories. I see it in the soldiers, the grief I know so intimately. And I will not abandon these men to it. The isolation wears on me. Slowly, the silence takes over, as if my heart has given out of air. I cannot talk. I can only paint.
For more than 2 years, Mary Ryder Hamilton painted the battlefields of the First World War, creating an unforgettable visual record of service and sacrifices at immense personal cost.
This episode of Daytime Ottawa is brought to you in part by Dustin Design and Drafting, your first step toward building your dream project with a team approach. Ottawa is proudly supported by Mary's Must Read Book Club. Follow Mary on social media at Mary K. Taggart for her latest book club picks.
Welcome back to the show. Well, we finally got David's wife on the show. He's been stealing all the limelight. David Kern, a regular guest on the show, wonderful artist and instructor at the Ottawa School of Art. And we've teased this wonderful book. It is co-authored with his wife, France La Liberté, and she joins me here on the show alongside David. Welcome.
Nice to be here.
Great to have you here. The book, by the way, called Creative Surge, 3 Winters with Tom Thompson. I'll start with you, France, because, you know, as I said, he gets all the limelight usually. Why Tom Thompson? Why? Tell me the decision behind that.
I discovered Tom Thompson when I was 15 on a school trip and immediately fell in love with his paintings, but never really thought much about why.
Okay.
Many decades later, I painted this for Dave's milestone birthday. I won't tell you which one. And whilst I painted it, I realized that whenever I looked at a Tom Thompson painting, the emotional profile or content just tumbled out towards me long before any of the detail in the painting came out.
Okay.
And then I started taking an interest in the human being behind the paintings and realized that, and that was the genesis of the book, that the important thing about Tom Thompson is that his life was very poignant in the last 3 years. He died at 39, very young. Wow. And during that time, he saw a lot of his supporters and friends melt into the fabric of the Second World War, leaving him not entirely alone, but largely because his painting group had then subsumed into history. His work became highly transformative and very prolific. And he just blossomed. Sometimes when we go through difficult emotional times, it can be, it's almost like it can be a spur to high creativity. And so, yeah, that's basically the genesis of the book. We've tried to make it very accessible to all ages, school children. It's very readable. It's a comfortable read, packed with information, but also some vignettes about Tom Thompson's life.
Yeah, David, what can you tell us about Tom Thompson's life that perhaps a lot of viewers, you know, aren't aware of?
Yeah. Well, there's the massive plein air sketches that he did, oil sketches, which are true masterpieces through the summer, right? And they sit with you know, Tom as the woodsman and a little bit of a bit of a loner, but you know, sort of he also did this wonderful studio work, you know, sort of, and the Jack Pine's a great example of that. But those works were all done in real adversity in Toronto, and he was broke. It was cold. Really? I mean, for the last 2 winters, he was in this shack behind the studio building that had just been built. Right? He couldn't afford anything. Right? So and of course, you know, sort of in the war, that couldn't have been a lot of fun. Right?
Yeah.
So we cover some of the aspects of his sketches, but we also look at these 3 winters where he did all his major masterpieces, his major large paintings, right? And we look at 2 per winter, right? So that's something which, when I've read quite a lot of stuff on Tom Thompson, right? No one seemed to have gone there.
Which is interesting, right? It being such a prolific period of time, right? Yeah. For people not to kind of recognize those 3 winters in particular. Yeah. And France, in the book, I mean, it's very conversational, am I right, between the 2 of you?
It's a walk through the National Gallery, enjoying his paintings. Yeah. And this is what is the comfortable read part of it, really, because we just want to encourage people to go to any gallery that's nearby that has their favorite paintings, regardless of whether it's Group of Seven or Tom Thompson, and just get comfortable with looking at paintings and absorbing the beauty.
Yeah.
Don't need to talk about it all the time.
No, certainly not. But David, I mean, what France says is very true, is that oftentimes when we walk through a gallery, we just kind of walk through and we look very quickly at each of them. Is part of this approach telling people to maybe take your time and appreciate it a little bit more?
Yeah, exactly.
That experience.
And talk about it, right? People find it hard to talk about art, right? You got to kind of, no, I'm not sure, you know. And so these conversations we've had, we've got quite a lot. There's quite a lot of information there. We think it's fun as well, right? It kind of is a bit of a journey through the gallery. But we also we're trying to make it accessible for people to actually talk about art and feel that they want to come to a gallery. You know, whether it's Tom Thompson or a commercial gallery or whatever, that they feel comfortable talking with their friends.
Say too, David, in France, you know what's interesting, because I think perhaps movies like film and television may have ruined that experience a little bit, because when you see people talking about art oftentimes in that setting, it's very intimidating the way that they speak about art.
Yes.
Is it fair to say that?
I think it's fair. Things are circular, because when Dave and I do workshops, and certainly when Dave teaches, we notice that creativity is everywhere. People say, I can't draw, I can't sketch. Everybody has something.
Right.
And so art belongs to everyone. And so they shouldn't be worried or afraid to talk of it. You don't have to use technical words. You don't just say what you like about it.
Exactly. No, I agree. You've got, speaking of the Jack Pine, you've got a conversation coming up, right, at the Jack Pine?
Yes. So part of we got the book out on the market and everything, and one thing that we're going to do is I think it's on the 28th, Thursday the 28th. There's free admission at National Gallery in the evening. So at 5:30 we're going to be doing a talk at the Jack Pine.
Oh, what a great idea!
Maybe we'll get to look at a few other greats of Canadian art as well. But yes, so that's coming up on the 28th.
Lovely. At the National Gallery of Canada at 5:30 p.m. And if you want more information about France and David and their workshops, you can go to davidkern.com and to find out how to get the book. All the information is there as well if you just go /Tom Thompson. We'll be right back with more right after this.
This episode of Daytime Ottawa is brought to you in part by Trio Financial Planning, helping individuals and families live today and build for tomorrow. Branton Renovation is pleased to support this episode of Daytime Ottawa. Branton Renovations, Ottawa's award-winning renovations team.
Watch Podium exclusively on Rogers TV.
When I was diagnosed with Guillain-Barré syndrome, I was deteriorating in front of everybody.
All my life I lived with sickle cell. I went through a tragic crisis that put me in a coma for 3 weeks. While I was in there, I received a lot of blood to put me in a healthier state.
I was given the plasma then through IVIG. Even though that happened so long ago, it still has a massive impact on me today.
Thanks to donors, I can live another life.
Because of you, I will be seeing my grandchild.
With Rogers TV, you can cheer on the home team from the comfort of your living room. We'll head to the rink, the field, the court, or the pitch, so you don't have to. Tune in and cheer on your local amateur athletes on Rogers TV.
This episode of Daytime Ottawa is brought to you in part by Dustin Design and Drafting, your first step toward building your dream project with a team approach. Daytime Ottawa is proudly supported by Mary's Must Read Book Club. Follow Mary on social media at Mary K. Taggart for her latest book club picks.
We've talked about many different types of art, little woodworking. We talked flowers on the show today. And of course, David and his wife, France, talking about Tom Thompson and what an incredible artist he is. Well, now we turn our attention to the theater, and Toto 2 Theater is presenting a very unique experience for everybody at home. It is SpongeBob, the Broadway musical, my friends. And here to tell us more about it, I'm joined by Alex Davidson and Tiffany Kenny. Welcome to the show. Great to have you both here. Tiffany, I'll start with you because you've worked with the theater in the past. Tell us a little bit about Toto 2 Theater.
So Toto 2 is about queer adjacent theater, and so they mostly put on productions that other companies are kind of challenged to do.
Okay.
So Toto likes to push the boundaries and make it very inclusive.
Well, let's talk about this particular show. Alex, how would you describe SpongeBob the Broadway musical? Is there a storyline here?
Yes.
Okay.
So we're still placed in our well-known Bikini Bottom, and they're kind of set in a existential kind of situation where the town is going to come to an end in a day or two because a volcano is going to erupt in Bikini Bottom.
Okay.
So it places them in a very serious situation, which you're not used to seeing in the cartoon show.
You play SpongeBob. Tell me what it's like playing, you know, such a huge figure. I mean, listen, I have kids. I grew up in that era where SpongeBob first began. Tell me what that experience has been like so far.
Well, playing SpongeBob has been great. I've been doing my best to kind of capture what I felt as a kid and embody that character in my own ways, of course. But
yeah.
Because people are going to come in expecting SpongeBob from the Nickelodeon TV show. But it's been so fun. It's one of those shows where you have to be on all the time and constantly be a 24-year-old in an 8-year-old body. It's great.
I kind of feel that way most days, actually, Alex. Tiffany, tell me a little bit about your character.
So I'm playing Sandy Cheeks.
Okay.
So I am the squirrel that lives underwater, pretty much studying Bikini Bottom. And through the journey, just discovers a lot and tries to help save the town.
And the music here, Tiffany, that I think is what's pretty magical too about this show, is most people will probably recognize a lot of the artists that have written for this particular show, right?
So many artists. You would hear styles of Cyndi Lauper, Panic at the Disco.
Oh my God, yeah.
Who else do we have?
Sarah Bareilles,
Aerosmith, T.I., tons
like
of
what
different.
An incredible lineup.
I know.
It's just amazing. So you guys sent a video along. I'm going to see if we can play a little portion of that video with the sound up so we can just listen in and hear some of the musical stylings that we can find in the show.
Ready to rock? 1, 2, 3, 4.
All right, so there's a bit of a teaser. So I have to ask each of you. So, do you have a favorite number in the show, Tiffany?
Oh, Poor Pirates.
Oh, yeah.
Poor Pirates. I absolutely love Poor Pirates. I'm not in it, but I'm in the back and I'm just playing along, singing along. So yeah.
Is that your favorite as well, or do you?
It's so great. It's detached from the overall narrative, and it'll make sense once you see the show. But it's a great number. Another one of my favorites, it's a little biased, is Simple Sponge, mostly because of the Sponge choreography. And that'll make more sence too when you see the show.
Okay. Yeah, tell me about that, because I mean, I imagine you have to be sort of, Tiffany, a triple threat in this. Like, what has rehearsal been like? Like, what kind of time commitment has this been for you?
Rehearsals. So rehearsals we do Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays.
Wow. Okay.
Right now we've picked up to Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays because we open next week. So yeah, we're getting close to crunch time right now.
There must be a particular balance, though, Alex, that you have to have. I mean, this is quite a commitment. I imagine, you work, school. I mean, your social life. Like, this is obviously a passion project then for everybody involved.
Oh, of course.
Right?
Everyone's putting their full foot forward, and it really is showing. We're like way ahead of schedule.
Nice.
And we're like, we're so excited.
That's a good sign. What about set and costuming? What could you tell me about that?
So for the vision of the overall show, you are going to see flares of the original Nickelodeon show, but we're definitely doing our own vision because we're not constrained to, say, a set time period like you are in a period piece. So we're free to do as we wish in terms of costumes.
So are you wearing like a full like SpongeBob outfit?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
We're not mascotting it up.
Okay. I had to ask.
Yeah, it's more along the lines of what I'm currently wearing, which is like an homage to what the character would wear if they were a human being.
Tiffany, as far as age group, demographic, who would you recommend coming to the show?
All ages.
It is, eh?
Great for kids, great for adults. I've been pushing for my cousins to come, my family friends. I mean, I grew up watching SpongeBob, and I love it, and I still watch SpongeBob 2 today. So.
Well, I love it too because I just find, sometimes as parents we get a little serious, right? Oh, it's got to be educational, and our kids need to learn something. I started watching, I'm like, no, this is just pure entertainment. That's why kids love it. Just let kids be kids and have some fun, and you guys get to be kids yourselves doing this show. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. SpongeBob, the Broadway musical, the Gladstone Theatre, a fantastic venue, by the way, November 28th to December 7th. Toto2.ca to get your tickets. We'll be back to wrap things up right after this.
We fought our way through Italy and then headed for Amsterdam, sweeping for Germans along the way. Our worst fear was to catch a bullet in these last hours of the war.
I was 15 when the Nazis invaded the Netherlands. More than 100,000 Dutch Jews never came home. Our men were put into forced labor. By 1945, we were starving. The food drops gave us hope. And then the Canadians came.
Before Amsterdam, I couldn't have explained why we were there, all those years away from home. But the Dutch showed us why it mattered.
Papa wanted me to bring some soldiers home to thank them personally. And that's when I first saw Wilf. And I invited him over that afternoon.
Marguerite Blaise married Lieutenant Wilf Gildersleeve. They moved to Vancouver, where they raised 8 children. Today, the Dutch still remember the Canadians who liberated them.
Welcome back to the show. Thanks to all of our guests. Just a reminder, foodlandontario.ca for all those recipes and more that Julie and I talked about on today's show. And if you just go under TV recipes when you get there, you can find all of them. And of course, many, many more. Big thanks to Michael, the designer from W Flowers. Don't forget, you can really lift the spirits of a senior here in our community. That great Christmas Smiles campaign. Visit his website, of course, 1556 Maryville Road as well. You can visit him in person. The Jonathan Crone, woodworking artisan with distinctive woodworking. He'll be at a couple of Christmas markets coming up. The Artisan Market at the Canadian Museum of History, that's happening from November 21st to the 24th, so this week. And the 613 Flea Christmas Market is coming up at the Carleton University Fieldhouse, and that's November 30th to December the 1st. That is, of course, the following weekend. And Talk at the Jack Pine at the National Gallery of Canada with David and France talking about their brand new book. It is just a wonderful book and so very conversational as they described. I think you'll absolutely love it. davidkern.com/Tom Thompson to find out more about that. And of course, you can find out about their workshops. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next time here on Daytime.
Connect with us by visiting our website or email us at comments@rogerstv.com.
Hello everyone, my name is Kwadwo Karamantang. I'm an ICU physician here in Ottawa, and I'm so excited to bring to you our latest show, Solving Healthcare with Dr. K. We're gonna tackle some of healthcare's biggest issues, and more importantly, we're gonna talk about ways to leverage preventive health. How do you avoid seeing someone like myself in the intensive care unit? And this show is exclusive on Rogers TV, so please tune in. You guys are gonna love it.
On the next Daytime Ottawa, we pit designer versus contractor.